Good morning. All right, so
Morning.
we already got our first technical difficulty because our partner, who's supposed to be Brian, supposed to be guest speaking with us, one of our new partners, he's having technical issues. So we've been trying for like 10 minutes to get him on. He was on. He was Skippy. Y'all know how it is with us and our Skippy guest speakers. It happens. Uh-oh. No. I don't know what just happened. Somebody called, phone started to ring. That is the first time that's ever happened. I mean, my computer started to ring.
What? You don't also say set it to do not disturb. I literally, while we were doing the countdown, I had to set mine to do not disturb and turn the ringer off on both of my phones because I'm not trying to be like,
that's the thing. The computer rang. You don't typically set your computer to D&D, so it's cool.
Put that on do not disturb.
TikTok, how y'all doing? Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You know, we got all the streams. We streaming everywhere. How y'all doing? It is Wednesday, 10 a.m. Wake up Wednesday. TikTok, we already hit 100 viewers. How y'all doing, man? We don't have a guest speaker, so we're pretty much gonna freestyle this episode. And when I say freestyle, I mean down to the very second, because as of right now, we still haven't come up with a topic.
So you just hit record, all right, or just hit live. I ain't bad. Like, all right, that's cool.
No, I know we could talk about, because I've been going hard all this week on my TikTok specifically. We could talk about 700 credit schools, the webinar. We could talk about 700 credit schools, how to get 100K in credit, and what to do with it. I actually had a consultation yesterday where I was speaking with this young lady who wanted to get business funding, but didn't know what she wanted to have, didn't know what she wanted to do with it. So it's important for me to teach and to talk to people about, we're not just trying to get OPM. We're trying to get OPM to understand what to do with it once we have it. Like, it serves you no purpose to get $100,000 loan or $100,000 line of credit or $100,000 credit card if you don't know what to do with it, because having access to that is always going to lead to temptation. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I just think to myself, it's like, all right, well, I'm bored one day. I'm just bored in the house and I see something on TV that's flashy and they're like, oh, this costs $2,500 to buy this. And you're like, you know what? I got $100,000 credit card. Let me buy it. What? we talking about? Why would you do that? What are we?
It happens though.
Tiff is with us. Tiff, we gonna have to bring you on as like a featured guest. Tiff always showing love on the TikTok. But yeah, what we got to do is understand. Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's backtrack. Before you get access to business funding, before you get access to personal funding, before you get access to any of these lines of credit or any of these things, you have to have a good personal credit score. A lot of people think the high 600s are good, and don't get me wrong, the high 600s, I'll put it like this: the high 600s are not bad, but the high 600s are also not good. You know, you're just in that neutral range. 650 to 680 to me is a neutral range. If you're not 700 plus, you do not have good credit. You have fair credit. It's like, okay, cool. You know, the lower tier credit cards, they'll give you something. Maybe Capital One will give you a $300, $500 credit card, but American Express isn't going to look at you. Chase isn't going to look at you. The bigger credit cards aren't going to care. The bigger credit cards, aren't going to want to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars because, oh, you're a 16, you know, and you think, man, look, I used to be at 400 and now I'm a 600. Yeah, that's good. That is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shooting anybody down. That is spectacular. But when you go from a 400 to a 700, now the banks are like, oh, what's his story? What's her story? Like, clearly you have financial responsibility to get to a 700, and I want to give you money. I don't know why they're like this. I swear, I truly don't understand why the banks see that number or those data points and they determine this person can be trusted with this much money. You don't even have to have a track record of having money. You literally can be a paycheck to paycheck person with a high credit score, and the banks are going to say, give him 50K, we could trust him. Just like that.
Well, I mean, if you think about it though, in terms of lending, I'm not a lender, so, but I would rather, if 700 represents that I'm going to get my money back, as opposed to I'm going to have to charge this account off. You know what I'm saying? I would much rather deal with 700 and higher, you know, and I think like a lot of the credit cards are like 700 or 720, somewhere in there. I would rather know that I'm going to get my money back as opposed to I have to charge off every last one of these. You have to have the income, you know, to be able to afford the higher limits or whatever. That's why, you know, that's a part of the application process. But I mean, people realistically, unless they check in income documents, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying lie about your income, but you know, they don't really know, but you got a 700 credit score.
Tiff said, listen, when you're in the upper 700s, you're in a whole new world. And I'm telling you, it is. You don't have to worry. Like, if you ever needed something that is out of your financial budget, as long as you have a plan. I always pause and I stress this. As long as you have a plan, go get it. You know, if you want to get a car and put it on Turo, and you know, okay, where I live, Turo is popping. You know, if you're in like South Florida, any part of Florida, Florida's Florida, or if you're in like a major city, Chicago, DC, Vegas, you know, major cities that you know people travel to often and they're going to need this service, and you have a plan, okay, cool, I'm going to get a car on Turo. I don't have enough money to afford a car right now, but guess what? I have a 762 credit score, so I know Navy Federal will give me a great auto loan, you know, for a good car that is going on Turo. Do your research. Go to Turo, figure out which cars are popping, look at the average range for those cars. Excuse me. Look, I done had half a bottle already. I'm already dried up. But figure out the range of those cars. You know, okay, cool. Let's do real examples, real cars. Let's say a 2020 Chevy Tahoe. Let's say a Chevy Tahoe, 2020 Chevy Tahoe, right? You're gonna go grab a big truck. Look at Turo in your area. They're gonna be Tahoes already on there. What are their ranges? How much are they charging per day? Oh, they're charging $240 a day for the Tahoes. Okay, you got to look at worst case scenario, because you're not gonna rent your vehicle out for 30 days straight for the full year. You know, I hate when people are like, yo, you can make this much money on Turo. Yes, it's possible, but the likelihood of you renting your vehicle out for 365 days straight is close to impossible. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not going to happen. So don't run the best case scenario numbers. Run the worst case scenario numbers.
When you I would think every weekend, just on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And that's probably ideal, you know, unless you got families. See, with the bigger vehicle, like a van or a bigger truck, you can equate the weekdays, because families are going to need those vehicles. Like if you were to do like a Tesla, me, family of 6, I cannot rent a Tesla if I go out of town. I have to rent a big truck or a van. So It's like, you got to think like that too. Our example is the Chevy Tahoe. So, you know, most people that are get it probably going to be men, probably going to be families, people that have a lot of people that are with them. So weekends, 9 times out of 10, might not be as good as on the weekdays. So you got weekends, what is it? 4 weekends a month, 8 days, maybe 12 if you do Friday to Sunday. So we're going to say worst case scenario, we can rent this truck out for 12 days a month. How much is it going for the daily rate? The daily rate is $114 or whatever the case may be. Okay, I do 114 times 12. I don't have a calculator, but we'll have that number up to the side, right? This is my potential income. That's what we're looking at, potential income. And then we go talk to Navy Fed before we even buy the vehicle. We're going to go talk to, I say Navy Fed because I bank with them, but we'll talk to our banks, figure out how much is this vehicle going to cost me? What is the monthly mortgage, the monthly auto loan going to be, blah, blah, blah. So that way we can know, okay, cool. I'm looking at a potential income of what, $1,200 a month, but the mortgage on the, why do I keep saying mortgage? The car note on this truck is going to be $650, or let's say that, plus insurance, always add insurance, and it's got to make sense. If you're gonna break even, it is not an ideal investment. If you're, God damn, get it out. If your ROI is more than 30%, and the ROI is return on investment, if it's more than 30%, you get the green light, and that's when you do all your income and your expenses are lower, obviously lower than your income by at least 30, or by no less than 30%. I don't know if I'm saying it right, if I'm saying it wrong, but you want your ROI to be at least 30%. Hell, if you can get way more, if you guys are in hotspot cities, like I know New York, I don't know. Do people really?
No, not New York.
They catch the train and stuff, right? Yeah. So
New York ain't it.
But let's use Florida. I'm in Florida. People are in Orlando. They renting cars left and right. MCO, the airport, I'm talking about you can't get a car rental because they are burning them all up. So we'll use Orlando, prime example. You guys travel, everybody travels to Orlando. Everybody loves Mickey Mouse, right? So if you live in Orlando, cool. I know people are going to rent cars. Let's just say worst case scenario, I want to rent out a Suburban or Tahoe. Like I said, I did the math. The math is mathing. I can see that this truck is going to rent out for, it's going to profit me $2,000 a month if I'm renting it out every weekend, and it's only going to be costing me total expenses $850. That's more than a 50% ROI, and that's only by me using the weekend only method. Mind you, I'm in Orlando. Most families are coming here for week-long trips, so it increases the chances of me actually making more money. But I don't want to go with the best case scenario because that'll hurt me in the long run. So, by doing
especially during slow season,
well, you gotta think this is Orlando though, so we don't really have a slow season. Like even Christmas and New Year's when it's freezing cold here, or quote unquote freezing cold here.
No, it was freezing this weekend. It was freezing this weekend. So
how many people were in? In fact, prime example, you all. AJ had the football tournament, so everybody's coming to Orlando around now. So it's never really a slow season. So they had the football tournaments in Daytona. They had flag ones in Orlando. It was like 3. They had some in Tampa, but that's what I'm saying. Florida never really has a slow season because it might be slow for everybody else. But guess what? All the really cold states are moving all their activities here, so we're never really slow.
Well, that's true.
So it's like, that's one thing. I'm just giving an example for anybody that's living in Orlando. Like Turo and Airbnbs, they're pretty much, I can't say that they'll never die, but they're a really hot commodity down here only because this is like Touristville, USA. But yeah, back to the point. The point is you want to make sure that the income is worth it versus the expenses. You have to make sure you take into account all of the expenses. For Turo, people are going to be ripping and running those vehicles. Like you're not going to have people that are going to be caring about your vehicles. We're just going to have to be 100%. When people are renting cars, they mashing the gas, they whipping the corners. They don't care. It's not their vehicle, right?
I was a wild child this weekend.
So maintenance is something you have to take into account for. Oil changes. If you get in a vehicle with synthetic oil, that is going to cost you. I know my truck is like $130 a pop. It's killing me. So it's like, add all those things up and make it make sense. Once that makes sense, then you go get the loan to start making income. A lot of times what we're doing or what people are doing is they have an idea. They'll just go do it and it doesn't work. And now not only did your idea fail, you still owe that money back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, I'm struggling. My 9 to 5, I can't pay it. You might start making late payments. Now your credit is taking a hit, and now it's all going down the drain. So we definitely want to have a financial literacy to understand what to do first before we even do it. Don't jump the gun. Get the understand. I'm getting so many followers. I appreciate all you guys. I haven't been looking at the TikTok screen. I'm sorry. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the follows. If you guys have any questions, any financial literacy questions, credit questions, business questions, entrepreneurial questions, feel free to ask. If you guys are asking on any of the other social media handles, nothing is popping up on the stream. Last week we didn't get any of the Facebook questions, and I apologize. I don't know why Restream does this. Sometimes we are flooded with comments. Sometimes we get no comments, and it's not that we know that you guys are commenting because I look on the other phone. It's just we're not seeing them, so we can't address them, and I apologize for that. What else? 700. So let's talk about 700s. How do you get there, Shanice? I'll let you shoot so I can drink some water.
You said no profanity. Pay your bills on time. Payment history is the biggest reason why people scores are continuously dropping. I don't know how many people know this, but a single late payment is worth up to 90-point deficit. So if you want to avoid your score dropping, you have to.
Hey,
look, I said, well, I mean, yeah, well, hold on. But if you 600, it's not going to be higher than it's not going to be that high. Now, if you're 800, it'll smack you down into the sixes real quick with a single late payment. So, but typically some people with over 750, they're, pretty good about making sure that they aren't late on any payments or anything like that. You want to minimize the amount of times that you're applying for credit. You want to make sure that anytime you have the opportunity to get a credit limit increase, take the increase. It's going to increase your score. I know a lot of people, they have credit cards and they're like, oh yeah, I just got the offer, but I declined it. And I'm like, why? Every time you go into a new bracket for credit, your credit score increases. And if you want to watch this on a month-to-month basis, if you get the self-lender, well, it's not self-lender anymore, but if you get the self-credit card, and every single month you extend your credit limit, taking it from the secured savings and putting it onto the credit card, you're increasing your credit score like 10 to 15 points every single month. And it's because your credit line is being increased. So every opportunity you get to increase your credit, take it. I don't know about y'all, but if I get me a $4,000 or $5,000 increase on my card, I'm not going to be like, no, I don't need it. Give it to me. And then, I'll utilize it however I see fit. What's another one? Look, I can't even think right now, KB, my mind. Payment history. Payment history is just that's the biggest thing. Like if you're making your payments, you're not gonna have derogatory, remarks per se. Look, my bad, y'all. My stuff fell on the floor. But if you're making your payments on time, you're not going to have derogatory marks. And if you are one of those people where you're paying yourself on time and you do have derogatory history, you can look at your credit and then I'm going to say get with somebody that you trust to either repair your credit for the negative stuff, or you can do it yourself. Do it yourself only if you are following somebody that you trust and that knows what they're doing, because a lot of people say they do and they don't. And then I see a lot of people stressed out and frustrated and wasting money because they trusted somebody who was on YouTube looking for information or as a Google specialist. So,
all right. So we covered the first one, credit, understanding how it works. Everybody knows how important credit is. We talk about it every week. You guys see it on TikToks. You guys see it on other social media platforms. We all know that credit is the most important thing. The issue is we've struggled with credit for so long that we don't care about it anymore. So what we want to start talking about, instead of talking about how to fix your credit and how to change your financial mindset, We're going to jump into the green. I'm going to go straight to the goal. We're not going to walk you down the street. We're going to show you the finish line. So the finish line we'll talk about the things you can do when you have good credit. We're going to talk about all the positive things, all the bonuses, and give you real examples. So one example will be simply because you have good credit, you can make money. And I talked about this yesterday on my TikTok, but from having good credit, you can make money by helping your friends tap onto your good credit. And what I mean by that is you can charge your family and friends to be added as authorized users to your good credit cards. If you have the financial literacy to have, high limit credit cards that have a nice bit of age, you can charge people to be added as authorized users. You can set the time that they're there. You can set the parameters and all those things, but now you're making money just from having good credit. Let me give a real example. Let's use me and Shanice, right? Let's say Shanice is my sister. She's like low 600s and she's trying to get to the 700s club. And I'm like, okay, cool. Look, Shanice,
cut me deep.
I'm just saying. So like, I got this $15,000 Navy Fed credit card that's got 7 years age. I never use it. It's there, 0% utilization, but I can add you to it. Give me $200. And 200 is being graceful. You guys, like I said, you can set whatever prices you want, but let's just say $200, right? And then let's say I got a brother, same thing. Let's say we do this with 5 people. You got 5 siblings and friends, whatever. You got 5 people and you want to add them as authorized users to your card. You're not going to give them the card. You're not going to give them accessibility to spend the money or any of that stuff. We're just adding them as authorized users so my positive history can report on their credit profiles, right? Now, here's the kicker. I charge them $200 each. So I already have good credit. I didn't go out of my way to do anything crazy or nothing. I literally just called the bank, added them, they filled out a form, whatever, and I made $1,000 off of that. I'm still living my day-to-day. I'm still doing my 9 to 5. I'm still doing whatever I wanted to do with my life. But simply having good credit, I made $1,000 by helping my family and friends get added as an authorized user to one of my cards. That's one. Now, hell, y'all know how many I got. You know what I'm saying? Now, what if I wanted to do that for every card? If I wanted to add 5 authorized users to every card I have at $200 a pop, if I have 10 cards, that's $10K. I just made $10,000 literally from just having good credit. I didn't do anything special. I didn't go out of my way to change anything. I didn't have to sit down and teach anybody anything. I literally just had good credit. And I helped my family and friends out by adding them as authorized users. And I made $10,000 off of it. We got a question. Go ahead.
So before you ask the question, a disclaimer to doing this, you guys. Please call your creditor and know how many people you can add before they close your account. So some people do this and they'll like sell like a line of credit or something like that, or they'll add AUs, and then they put their own account at risk. It doesn't matter how long you've been with the lender or the institution, whoever you have. Some of these agencies now, courtesy of COVID, they're cracking down on how many people they're allowing to be added to your file. So know what that number is and then stay under that. And if you are adding AUs, do it for a longer than a couple month period, right? I would say like 6 months or longer. But make sure you're protecting yourself at the end of the day.
Good. Appreciate the disclaimer because I 100% forgot it, but that is very important. The question is, how long does it take to update after paying your things on time or earlier?
Next billing cycle. Yeah, so typically it's the next billing cycle. So if you pay everything, let's say today, but your card won't report until, let's say the 3rd of next month, it'll be on the 3rd or 4th. I wouldn't say give it or take the weekend, because for some of my cards, if my due date, or not my due date, but my statement date falls on a Saturday or a Sunday, it won't report until the next Monday, next open business day. But typically no more than 30 days. It shouldn't take longer than 30 days. Some of these companies and some of these bureaus, they drag their feet. So it really just depends on who's reporting what.
Another thing to add to that. Remember the methods that I teach you guys. You're paying it back as soon as you spend it. Once you start getting used to that, I promise you, you never have to worry about a statement date. You never have to worry about a due date. You never have to worry about update. Like, you ain't worried about none of these dates, because for me, like I've trained myself to the point where I literally, when I swipe my card, my brain, my muscles immediately open up that Navy Federal app and I will pay that card. So what is happening is I'm technically putting a negative balance on my credit card, knowing that once the pending charge hits, it'll reset me back to zero. You know,
right.
I still get reward points. Don't get me. This is where a lot of people get it. They misunderstand. They think, oh, well, if you put it in a negative, you're not gonna get the points. No, you get the points from the pending charge regardless. They don't care if you have, but they do care if they want you to have a balance because they want to be able to charge you interest. But I don't give them that satisfaction. There's been times where, hell, I've had like a $2,000-3,000 negative. My credit card has been in the negative $2,000-3,000 because I know I spent that much, and it was on like a weekend, and I was waiting for it to hit. You know, it hits like Tuesday, Wednesday, or something. But knowing that, like, okay, we just charged the card $2,000. Let's give him the 3% off the $2,000 he spent. Oh, he's at a zero balance. Also, I never have to worry about when my due date is because my balance is always zero. You know, so that's another thing.
But if you're spending on the card and then you're immediately paying back, chances are you've already hit your minimum for the month. So you're going to, you never have to worry about a late payment, or necessarily a minimum balance due, because you're paying it in full as soon as you, make the charge.
It also helps me with like with my budgeting. It helps me because if I don't have the money in my spending account, I know I can't swipe the card. I've trained myself to be like, okay, cool. I got a little less than $1,000 in my spending account. I probably shouldn't buy this right now, but if I do buy it, I still got to move it over. If it ever goes below the red flag number, then it's like, okay, Navy Federal send me a text, hey, your account is below your number that you preset, and then I know, all right, well, shit. Do I need gas? Do I need groceries? What do I need? What are my necessities? Let's make sure those are good for my next paycheck rolling. Are we covered?
Right.
Okay, cool. Let's get the things. But it's all mindset change. It's all a mindset. Somebody asked, what are some good starter cards that you guys can recommend?
Capital One, Quicksilver, Capital One. I like Capital One personally. I do not like subprime cards. And even though Capital One, Discover, Secured, Discover It, they have secured, go with the bigger companies if you can get them. If you cannot qualify, for anything, Open Sky is good as a temporary card, just to kind of get your foot in the door and get started. But if you can't get any,
you said prime and then followed up with
no, I said if you can't get nothing, if you can't get, if you've applied for these other cards and you can't get anything, like it's like to me, like Credit One, Open Sky, those are like, even though they're necessary for some people, those are like run fast cards for me. Like the interest is high as hell. You have to put up your own money. You know what I mean? Like I like unsecured cards. I don't like secured cards. But if you need them to get started, then it's a great way to get started. I like secured card because it converts to a credit card. And then after you have the credit card, once you have the secured account paid off, the credit card goes unsecured. So I didn't know that until I had a client that had that, and they were like, my credit line is increasing every single month. I think it was like $25 or $50, but it's unsecured at this point. So if my client ever decides to like close their account, the secured balance that they have on that card, they actually get refunded that amount. So I mean, Open Sky, but I really don't like secure cards, y'all. Like
I say the first card,
it's very limiting.
The first card anyone should ever get is with their bank. I don't care who you bank with, go with your bank. It's gonna make the process so much easier. most banks, and I can't say all because obviously every bank's going to be different, but most banks will have like an internal payment system where you can take your checking account and immediately pay your credit card without having to wait for like a 2-3 day payment processing or anything over the weekend, any of that stuff. Like I said, Navy Fed, you guys know I love Navy Fed. So for me, even on the weekends, I'll see that Navy Fed takes the money straight out of the account, knowing, okay, cool, I'm good, I'm covered. But if it's like a Navy Fed to Capital One or something, it's like, okay, well, first they got to talk to the banks. It's going to take 2-3 days. Then I got to hope that the charge goes through I got to hope that the money comes through before the charge goes through. Now it's a thinking game. And now I'm all confused. Like, I did pay it, but did I pay it on time? ACH transactions, all that, it gets all tricky. So the good starter cards are the ones with your banks, plus some banks. I know most credit unions, like Navy Fed, we're going to keep preaching until they give us a sponsorship. But like Navy Fed, they have like internal banking scores where even if your credit isn't super, they'll still give you one of their, lower tier cards to get you in the door because you're a value customer. So someone, I've actually seen this one time only. I've only ever seen it one time. Do not start going applying for this card, but Navy Fed approved one of my clients for $5,000 with a 583 TransUnion. Like I said, I've only ever seen it one time.
Look, but Navy Federal, and I know you like Navy Federal and want the sponsorship, but they're very selective about who they're giving cards to. And even though they say that the score doesn't necessarily matter, it kind of does, but it really doesn't, right? So it's one of those, what is your profile? What does your credit profile look like? Do you have less than 5 inquiries? Do you have, more than, or less debt? Like what's your debt to income? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
My bad. I was just
like,
exploring the
I'm trying to look at the screen. I just cannot. So Navy Federal is they're very, very picky. So I've seen people with 700 credit scores get denied for a secured card with Navy Federal because their profile was not good. So realistically, what does your credit profile look like? So that's 5.8. What did you say? 583. They got it because they probably had, everything else looked good, and they probably did the pledge loan. They probably did the pledge loan with them. But yeah, bank products. Huh?
No, somebody said hashtag Wake Up Wednesdays, but it popped up as a Facebook user.
Oh.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Hey, Ryan. Look, I just saw that. Look, I'm looking at the comments because I pulled it up on my computer. Hey, Ryan. But no, like, yeah, I definitely agree with KP. Start with your bank. But if you're just going straight up credit cards, I mean, I like Capital One because like Capital One was like, they were giving everybody, I don't know about this year, but last year, third and fourth quarter, they were smacking like with limits, and like people who didn't have credit, they were able to get the cards. It probably was because it was like holiday season, so they wanted everybody to max out.
Oh yeah.
But
they do things strategic, just like we're supposed to do things strategic.
It is. So, Capital One for me was a highly recommended favorite. But definitely go with your bank because sometimes they do have no credit check. Hi, Kaya. They do have no credit check products, that you can get started with, credit cards or secured loans, stuff like that or whatever. Always start with who you bank with. And if you don't have a bank, get a bank. Preferably a credit union, though.
Yeah.
Mine
let's
now,
talk about
KP,
that. As soon as you said it, let's go back. Let's talk about that because the banks, man. Cash App, Chime, Apple Pay, these are not banks, y'all. And I'm not saying don't use them because they're great, to send money to family and friends and things like that, but they are not banks. When the credit card companies are asking you, for your banking information, or if you guys are entrepreneurs and you want to go get business funding and things like that, when they see those, that's instant denial. Instant denial. Chime does have a credit card, which is pretty good. I'm hearing good things about it. I don't have one, but I'm hearing good things about it. So Chime is kind of good in that sense. But what just happened to my computer?
I don't know.
My host just
Am
changed.
I still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
Oh, okay. What is shut down?
No, like the whole window just closed. All right, hold on.
KP is the technical difficulty today. He blamed Brian this morning, but it probably was your computer messing up him.
Nah, but I gotta figure out where the window even went. Google Chrome. There we go. All right. We back. We back. Y'all good? We back. God, please. Oh, Talon said something. I mean, Amex soft credit checks right now. Times are changing. This is huge. I found this out like 2 months ago with the American Express the soft inquiries, and that's huge because everybody knows Amex is the top dog when it comes to credit cards. American Express, they're like the creme de la creme of credit.
Right. No, for real.
All their credit systems. That's what I said. Oh, Brian, I got the chat up too. Brian, you know you can come back in with the same link, bro. Brian, just rejoin with the same link I sent you. We're gonna try to get Brian on NCI. They met Tamaya last week. Everybody loved Tamaya. Brian scared to show face, so it's all good.
Tamaya was so funny. She was like, somebody had told me.
All right. But yeah, American Express. So like I said, when you guys are starting to understand credit and how it works, you can live off of credit. There are people literally living off of credit because they understand how to spend their day-to-day money, how to spend their day-to-day expenses, and then how to use and not manipulate, not cheat, not steal, how to use those point systems to do the things they want to do. If you guys in fact, this isn't even a hypothetical. We're all spending money every day. All of us. You guys watching on social media platforms, everybody is spending money every day. Why are you not being rewarded for it? That's the question. Look, Tamaya ain't here laughing. Tamaya, look, Tamaya, you can join. You can double back since Brian's scared. If you want to come back with us, but yeah, you guys are spending money every day. You need to be rewarded for it. A lot of people, and I've spoken to people, and they're like, "Man, that credit card was only giving me 2%." Well, the debit card ain't giving you nothing. So,
right?
Like, what are you saying? Plus, not only is the credit card giving you 2%, they're giving you other protection factors that you might not have known. You know, people don't understand. Some of these credit cards are giving you rental car reimbursement. They're giving you travel travel displacement. Is it travel displacement? Like, yeah, when you know the big thing that happened with all the airports, everybody getting grounded. You know, what were you gonna do if you paid with the specific type of credit card? They go, Brian, look, he ain't nobody laughing at him.
Whole time.
But hold on, Brian. So if you pay with a specific type of credit card, when all the airports got grounded, certain credit cards would actually get you in a hotel free of charge. It's included with your insurance just from paying with that credit card. A lot of people don't know that. I know with one of my Navy Federal cards, I think it's the flagship, but I think it's one of them. They give you tow assistance. So, and funny story, feel free to laugh. I know y'all gonna laugh anyway. The very first time I rented a Tesla, I didn't know that the card was a key, or the key was a card. You know what I'm saying? So I get out, the dude tells me how to lock the doors and all that. I leave the card in the car. So I lock the door, get out the Tesla, and this would be a feature that Elon Musk need to fix. Why the hell are you letting people lock their cars in the car? But I lock the Tesla, get out, I leave, I come back, I'm like, damn, how I get in the jump? You know what I'm saying? I'm patting myself like, then I look and I say, damn, that's the car right there. So I call Hertz because I rented it through Hertz, and they're like, oh, well, you know, to get rental reimbursement, it's $19.99 or something. Not rental reimbursement, to tow people, for the people to come tow it and unlock it. It's $19.99. And they was like, well, what kind of car was it, sir? I said, it's a Tesla. I said, oh, we have remote unlock for $9.99. I'm like, I ain't tripping. That's $9. Let me pay that. You know what I'm saying? Pay $9. He did something on the computer and the Tesla unlocked in front of me. I was like, damn, but I paid $9 for that, right? Come to find out, I told the story to, I don't even know how I told this story to one of my Navy Federal people, but they were like, oh yeah, how long has it been? It was over 30 days. So I missed my window of being reimbursed, but they told me, had I called Navy Fed they would have reimbursed that $9 charge on my credit card because they cover that. And I was like, damn, I didn't know that. But let's say I would have paid with my Navy Federal debit card, I would have just been out the $9. And that's one perk of the many perks that you can get covered for. You know, I know they got accident reimbursement. So you know how when you guys rent vehicles and stuff like that, they say, hey, you want to buy our insurance and any of that. You don't need to when you pay with your specific cards. I know American Express has way better ones, but when you pay with your specific credit cards that have that accidental reimbursement, you don't need to pay the extra money for the insurance because you're already covered just because you paid with your credit card. You know, so you guys, you know, I know we see those credit card lists and we get that long list of BS that we don't really want to read, but take the time to read it because you'll be surprised how much they're protecting you, how much they're actually looking out for your better interests, and how much they want you to use those cards along with that little 2% that you're not liking, right? So it's just to let you guys know.
So I don't think that a lot of people realize how much insurance are on credit cards. Like anything you purchase, chances are there's some type of insurance behind it. If your flight gets canceled, you can get reimbursed with credit cards. It depends on the card. Obviously, this would be like the bigger cards and stuff like that or whatever. Not almost every purchase on a credit card is insured in some way, shape, or form. You know, and even though, you know, I love Navy Federal, even their debit card offers, you know, certain protections or automatic reimbursements. You just have to know what, you know, where you're banking and then know what your benefits are and then max every single time. Like, you know, you're spending the money anyway. I'm heavy on the credit cards. I do not use my debit card. KP got on my head last year about that. I think I made one transaction. He looked at it and said, why is this a debit card? What is going on? And I was like, I know. And that was the last time that I used a debit card. So, you know, and I think that was almost $1,000. What was that, like 8 something? It was a lot. It was, I paid something and KP was like, oh, no, you missed all points. So I missed out a lot on that. But
think about it like this, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. $1,000 swipe at 2%. $1,000 swipe at 2% is $20. So regardless of what you were buying, $20, that's gas. That one specific thing we're gonna say, that's gas. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know we need gas. So instead of her having to go, and then hell, listen, and he go never kick it. And I ain't gonna go crazy with the gems, but you all know, the people that have been following me, you all know how I can help you get more money from getting gas. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say what the gym is, but y'all already know. So it's like, imagine if you spent that $100 and now you got $20 you could put toward gas, but then I teach you how to make that $20 and get a little bit of kickback from that off of getting gas. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you once you understand how credit works, you can make money from all of this shit. She done got $20 for gas, then made another $1 off the gas, and then when she repeats that process, you know, infinity, because you're always going to be spending money. Now the money you make from gas can now go to buying kids toys and gifts and stuff like that. The money you made toward gas is giving you free gas for who knows how long. Now you're not paying for gas no more. You don't got to worry about when your kids ask for candy, buying the kids candy and things like that, little miscellaneous things. And guess what? Your bank account is still staying the same because all of this money is coming from points and cashback rewards of using your credit card. That's simple. A lot of people don't see the fine print. They hear the fix your credit, but they don't understand why you need to fix your credit. And these are the whys. Hey, Brian, look. Hey, in the on the left hand side, click the little 3 dots and edit your name, man. You gotta put something behind that, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be Brian.
I just can't be Brian.
Hey, TikTok. Hey, he ain't no TikTok. Don't hurt him, y'all. Don't hurt him. TikTok. They just like who is Brian? Who is Brian?
That dude, like, no. but no, like, yeah, imagine living your entire life where you go, let's say, a year of never having to use your rewards points, and then the following year you're like, I'm just gonna start paying for my flights, my gas, my I'm gonna cash back, do my pay my mortgage or whatever. You had a full year of spending, and now a full year of all of these rewards that the points themselves are sometimes worth more than the cash back. So you can now use that, a whole year of flying to all of these different destinations. I think I was talking to somebody who said that they were flying to Dubai, and that I think they were gone for a week, maybe 2 weeks. It was on like an anniversary thing, and they were using their points to pay for the entire trip. So they were out no money for an international, trip for 2 people. They weren't paying anything for it. Like you're already spending the money, you may as well, just let the points rack up, and then, treat yourself or your significant other or both or children, whatever, if you don't have limits.
Certain airlines and car rentals have their own credit cards, which significantly helps you when you fly with them. So like Southwest, I fly Delta. So Delta has or Chase has Delta has their own credit card. They got an American Express one. They got a Delta Sky Priority. So having a specific credit card with Delta, one, it allows you to get into their Sky Club. Boy, their Sky Club. If you guys hate being in a congested airport, get with the Delta Sky Club. I mean, you got to be a member of Delta and you have to be flying with Delta, but the Sky Club, you get free food, free drinks. It's a whole different waiting area. You can still see the the boarding schedule, so where you got to go, what gate, and all those things like that. And it's a quieter environment. It's like it's almost like an upscale environment. It's like, yo, I'm in chilling, watching TV. Got some mimosas over here popping. I got me a waffle, and it's all included just from having good credit.
Right.
See what I'm saying? You can't get that with bad credit. I can say right now, you cannot get into the Delta Sky Club with under a 700 credit score, because every one of the cards to get you into the club requires a minimum of a 700. Hell, some of them are 720.
I was going to say, typically for airline cards, it's higher than 700. I'm going to say plus. And it don't matter what the profile looks like. You can have a good, healthy 690, and you ain't getting it.
Yeah. But another thing to add to that is, like Shanice said, when you get these specific cards, you don't have to use it just for those things. Let's say I have the Delta Sky Miles card. It's still an American Express credit card, but it gives me bonuses to Delta. So just using it for my everyday purchases, I am now making 1 point per dollar spent. So let's say I average $2,500 a month. I'm making 2,500 points. That ain't really a lot, but I'm making 2,500 points that go toward my Delta account. Along with, if I was to use it for a Delta flight, it gives you like 5 times the points or something. It's a lot higher. But imagine if you use your cards, and then, like she said, free trips. This is how I teach you guys to travel for free. This is how I teach you guys to use these cards for everyday use, everyday purposes. You're going to spend money anyway. You might as well be rewarded for it. So that's that. But it all starts with the mindset change. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. If you don't want to change your mindset, you're not going to change your credit score. It's just like that. Right. You could pay all the bills. You could pay all the collections and all the charge-offs off. If you don't have a mindset of fixing your credit, guess what? You're just going to have a bunch of paid charge-offs on your account. And it does look better. It looks better, but it's still having collections and charge-offs that are paid on your account. So is it really better? You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow, you had 6 charge-offs that you paid all of them. You still let them get charged off.
Man, I can't do nothing with that. Like, I can't sue. I don't like negative accounts. Like, paid charge-offs to me are pointless. Like, y'all missing leaving money on the table, like, is, but y'all know how I feel about credit though. So I'm just suing everybody. This year gonna be real different.
Let's talk suing. Let's teach the people how they can sue. A lot of people don't understand. the CRAs, the credit report agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Spring, the big three that y'all already know about, they are not government entities. They are not
Those
a
are
part
private
of the
businesses.
IRS. You know what I'm saying? They are not a part of the IRS or none of that. Where a lot of people had a misconception where they think, oh, the credit score, you know, the credit bureau, that's government, that's federal. Who told y'all that? It's not. It's a literal privately owned company or companies that just
You could
so
buy
happen to
stocks in all three of the companies too.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's crazy, right? That people don't understand
Mm-hmm.
that. But with that understanding, you need to understand. You can sue them. You can sue them. We have specific consumer laws and rights that protect us that are being violated literally every day by the CRAs. They violate you because you don't know you're being violated and you live with it. You deal with it. You struggle with it. You got a 500 credit score. Every item on your credit report is being reported inaccurate. You don't know that, so you just deal with having a bad credit score. When the reality of it is,
people that are like, or the people that are like, oh well, it is my repossession. Like, it doesn't matter if it's not being reported accurately. And negative, I'll say this, negative accounts, especially repossessions, it's so many violations that sit on those accounts that are sick. And because it's a repossession and for whatever reason, we're programmed like, okay, well, no, it did get repossessed. You're not paying attention to all of the other inaccurate data. I sued Experian and won because there was a repossession. I knew it. I lost my job. I was third trimester pregnant, lost my job, lost the car, a couple months later. So situations happen. I still sued. I'm still not liable for the debt. The debt has went away permanently forever. I didn't get a 1099-C because I had so many violations that were on the account. The original creditor was like, hey, take us out. We gonna wipe the debt. You're not financially responsible for it no more. We want out. We don't want anything to do with this suit. My attorney was like, this is a good deal. Take the deal. I took the deal and then I sued Experian because they, even though, the creditor, we had our own agreement, Experian still wasn't going. So even if the creditor says we're not reporting this information inaccurately, this is how we're sending it. And that's what they're showing you. These credit reporting agencies, they're basically doing whatever they want to do because it's profitable for them to keep negative information on your credit. They don't want to delete nothing. Why?
Exactly.
It's more beneficial for me to keep you at a 520 or a 4 something. You know what I mean? Like a 402. I think that was the lowest score that I've seen. But yeah, you can sue them. The debt can be gone and all of that stuff. Like everybody is going for like deletions. Why are you going for deletions when you can get a check? There's a lot of money in looking at your credit report and looking for the errors. You're being violated. You just don't know. People follow a lot of these people in like a lot of these groups and people brag on their group sizes and all of that stuff. And people are still struggling with bad credit questions because people who are teaching them, they don't care. I'll say they don't care to fully teach people. Like, it's so many violations, y'all. It's thick. Like, I can't wait for this year. This year in particular will be real different for a lot of people. Because we're not going just for deletions. I want to get people paid. Period.
Why is it not? I don't think we live in a group. I just look. I'm looking. I'm trying.
Did you push the button?
I pushed all the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I pushed all of them. I don't know, man. It's killing me. Every week this happens. There's always something. But TikTok, like I'm getting a lot of follows. I appreciate all the follows. If you guys have any questions in relations to what we're talking about, let me know. We just got a bunch of I just got a bunch of likes and follows. So TikTok's been kind of quiet today. Facebook's been asking questions. Let's talk about Brian. What were we talking about the other day? The like investments and stuff, right? Real estate. Yeah, you do real estate. How does that work? Like, tell the people. Yeah. If I'm a 9-to-5er, I want you to use me as a prime example. I'm a 9-to-5er. I got a 752 credit score. I make 40,000. I make 40,000 a year. I want to use a realistic example. I have a 9-to-5. I make $40,000 a year, but I want to get in a real estate investment. I don't have the money. I don't have the money though. You know what I'm saying? I only got $1,500 in my savings account and maybe less than $1,000 on my checking account. You know, I'm doing good. I'm not struggling, but I'm not balling out. But I got a 750 credit score. So like, how can I get into real estate investment? You muted. Is it
my end? But
oh, that jump went choppy.
Oh
Hold on. We can't hear you, bro. Hey, look.
of course.
I saw your mouth was moving, but we didn't hear no audio. Go ahead. Nah, it went out again. Damn, man. What the hell?
I blame you. That's why his signal choppy. I blame you.
Every time we get a guest speaker, this is crazy. Every time we get a guest speaker, it's always the guest speaker. Like, is it Restream? Is it us? Like, it might be me. I don't know.
Well, we have accounts. Do they have to have an account?
Robert, Sasha. I don't know. I don't think so, because if they don't have an account, they can't join the room. So like, they join as a guest. But I'm not sure. But let's I guess, I mean, I know the answer to it. I was hoping Brian could give us some input, but it's choppy. That Joan got that. Hey, that Joan. Oh, he left. Damn. Why does this always happen to us?
I blame you. I blame you.
It's cool. We'll get him back. He'll come back. But I'll answer. Or, Shani, you want to answer it? How would somebody get into that? Like, remember, my scenario, we're going to use me. How y'all doing? What's going on, Robert? What's going on, man? We're giving scenarios on how credit can help you with investing, even if you don't have the funds. So the scenario, I'll say it again. I'm a 9-to-5er. I have about $1,500 in my savings account, $1,000 in my checking account, but I have a 753 credit score. So I want to get into real estate investing. But I don't have the funds necessarily up front. How do I do that? And Shanice is getting ready to give us.
So I guess my question would be, real estate investment is so vague. What type of investment do you want to do? Because if you want to let's say you don't have all of those, prerequisites that you just named. Let's say you got a 400 credit score. You don't have no money in the bank and you still want to get into real estate investing. You can still do it. But how do you want to go about it? You know what I mean? I don't know what you and Brian were talking about last week or whatever, but wholesaling is a great way to get into real estate investing. You don't need any money. And essentially what you're doing is transferring contracts from one, person to the next. So you don't need money for that. So, are you wanting to do like fix and flips? You know what I mean? Like, what is it that you're in? What are your intentions? You can start from there. Then you have to come up with, realistically, once you know what you want to do, that's pretty much, because I'm more so real estate investment for wholesaling. I don't do the fix and flips just yet.
Okay.
But you can get into, if you're doing fix and flips, you can do hard money loans. Again, look, I have no idea what you want to be talking about. It's so many things that you can get into when it comes to real estate investment. Are you trying to do like hedge funds? Are you, what were y'all talking about? I need some details. Like, what is it? What are y'all doing? If you want to use credit, you can. If you want to, okay. So then let's use your scenario, and let's say you wanted to get into real estate investment, and let's say you just want to buy a property. You can go and get into the investments. You can start with like a multiplex. And depending on, I guess, where you're buying, you can buy multi-units. You know what I mean? You can use different laws. You can use different loan types like FHA to get your first. I'm assuming that this is your first time buying any type of a property. You can live on one side, rent out the other side. If you buy in a multiplex, the second, third, fourth unit, however many units are attached to the building, is now considered income. So it doesn't matter if you have 40,000. Banks will look at the other units as they'll go by the market, the fair market rent for that particular area, and then they'll include that in your income. So the 40,000 that you originally brought to the table is now 60 or 70,000 in the end.
Got it. I was typing it out on my notebook, handy dandy. But yeah, so that's pretty much what me and Brian were talking about, was how to use credit to get into anything. Pretty much his one thing was real estate investment. You know, people are like, oh, I need 50,000, I need 100,000 to start, like you said, with the duplex, something like that. Or if you want to use your first time home buyer, you know, I call it a first time home buyer credit, because, you know, obviously when you get your first home, you know, they give you perks and things like that. But to use it, like you said, to get a duplex or a quad or apartment or whatever, to live in one, you don't even have to live in. Well, I think legally you do have to live in one.
Yeah,
for like a year.
I thought it was 2 right now. I think you had to. No. I'm sorry. That's the sale. That's the sale. Never mind. Disregard that.
But technicals aren't important, since that's not our industry. But let's say you got to live in. Let's just say a year. If the law says you got to live in it for a year, even though it's a duplex, guess what? You can live in one and rent out the other one for the mortgage. Now you're living rent free. And guess what? When the tenant in the second was going to pay their own utilities and all those things, depending on the area you live in and your mortgage, because of your credit score, you might be able to make their rent more than the mortgage. So not only are you living rent free, you're making a little profit off of their side, right? So as you do that, you're still building equity the entire time. So as long as you keep a tenant in there, you're living rent free. You should be taking their payments and doing something with it. Obviously, if they're covering the mortgage, you should have way more money to be saving to put towards something else as you live there. Let's say a year or two goes by, the recession is now over and the house market is back in order, and you have equity in your house. Guess what? You've been living there rent-free for 3 years, but when it comes time to sell it, you're going to sell it. Obviously, you should be selling it for more than what you purchased it for, with the equity included. So it's like now you're making a profit just from having good credit. You're able to live rent-free for 3 years. When you sold the house, let's say it was 150,000. We'll just use some small numbers, 150,000, but you were able to sell it for 180 or maybe even 200. Guess what? You made $50,000. You should have saved. I won't say you saved 50,000, but you should have saved. Let's say you were saving $1,000 a month, 3 years. That's 36,000. So now you have $86,000 just from having good credit. If someone's paying the mortgage, if they're paying more, you don't have to worry about on time. You don't have to worry about paying late because somebody else is paying it for you. Well, they're paying you. If they're paying, you should be paying on time and then getting reimbursed from their payments. Manage the property, obviously, but you can have that as an investment, right? Well, guess what? After 3 years, let's just say you decide not to sell. You decide instead you want to move out. You can now rent the other part of that duplex and this is what I would do. I'll give you guys my example. What I would do when I moved out of the second half of the duplex, I would decide what is my rent going to be for wherever I'm moving to and set that as the price of that, or make it equivalent to what the other person is, just in case they start talking and they're like, oh, how much you pay? You don't want any type of conflict like that. But as long as it covers, guess what? You now have a duplex that is one paying for itself and the other portion is paying for where you live now. Rinse, repeat, because you still have that 36,000 that you saved up from when you were living in the single. Now you can save more. Let's do another 3 years. You save another 36,000. Now you got 72,000. Now you're if you've been investing that money, or if you got an IUL, life insurance policy, or anything, it's different ways to make money. Now you're building wealth while living for free, all from having good credit. You can't get approved for a house. You can't get any of these things with low credit, but it's different tips and tricks. That's just one. That's me teaching you guys how to, you know, not finesse, but how to turn your first property into an investment property while simultaneously living in it. But guess what? You saved 36 bands, but in reality, you probably saved more, because if you were listening to me and doing all the strategies of using your credit cards like I'm teaching you, using the gas rewards like I'm teaching you, traveling for free. Remember when I said you can live off credit? This is the true definition of living off of credit. You know, and it's not hard. It's just we don't have the understanding and the mindset to know how to do it. Now that you put it all together, you put it on paper, you budget, you write out a plan and do all the things, you can legitimately live off of credit. I appreciate the roses. I got some roses. Look, I'm spitting fire. I'm getting hot.
But I mean, but everything that you just said, even though it's not a finesse, it feels like it. Once you get good credit and you like, man, I've been living like a savage my whole life. Like it's a whole new way of life and saving and wealth building. And you know, it's once you have a plan, it's all up from there.
That's it. I got some more shares. We got some roses. I got some likes. I appreciate y'all. Y'all got any questions, man? Listen, beam us with the questions. Facebook, I don't know. Some of them are coming through. Some of them are not. TikTok, y'all right here, man. Y'all got any questions? Let us know. We're actually over our time. So if we don't have anything, we'll wrap it up. If we do,
well, technically,
we'll talk to y'all.
We started. Oh well, no, we're still over an hour. Yeah, you're right.
Let's see what we got. So nothing from TikTok. Can you see Facebook on your side? We got anything over there?
No, not from what I can see now.
All right. But yeah, man, y'all just understand. Credit is important. I won't keep bashing the fix your credit. Instead, what we're probably gonna start doing is preaching to you guys the things you guys can get with good credit, so you can see the gold. Because if you don't know what you can do with it, someone telling you to fix your credit is not going to be rewarding, you know. But someone telling you how they were able to travel for free and give you the step-by-step process, that is going to push you a little bit harder. If I can show you specifically how I can get to Vegas for free, how I can get a free hotel, how I can get a free car rental, and then travel back all for free just from having good credit, that is going to incentivize you to fix your credit more than me just saying, get a good credit score, guys, so you can get better interest rates. Because that sounds like a commercial, you know.
No, I mean, so I was talking to my brother just on, I guess, Monday. What is today? I don't even know what it was, Wednesday. So Monday, I forget it was a holiday, so it felt like a Sunday. That's why I almost said that. But I was talking to my brother. My brother has always had, I'm going to say, struggle credit. And he was like, you know, whenever I go to a dealership, I always got to put $2,500 down. I said, what? You know, so he's just now coming into the, I want to fix my credit and stuff like that. So I'm like, just wait until you get your credit fixed. And the first time let's say he didn't get the financing before he went into the dealership, but walking into a dealership and saying, that's the car that I want. You can negotiate your rate. You can negotiate your terms. You can negotiate everything when you have good credit. And then you're like, whatever the lowest APR for that vehicle is, if it's brand new, a lot of them have the 0% interest, and then 90 days with no payments. And my brother looked at me and was like, you can do that? I'm like, yeah, you can do that. It's a different flex when you walk in and you walk out with the vehicle that you want with no money down. Like, you know, and then that's just a stepping stone. For some people, that will be a little more achievable than, you know, getting the cards and stuff, the credit cards, you know, for traveling and stuff like that or whatever. But the stepping stone, once you experience it, you get a taste for it, and it's exhilarating. For some people, that's going to push them to keep going more. I want to be able to do this more often. I want to take this vehicle, put it on Turo, you know, or whatever. I can make money off of this. You know what I'm saying? Like it is life-changing, fixing your credit. So even though, you know, KP's always in your ear, fix your credit, this really is a situation where you can change your entire quality of life just by improving your credit. And all it takes is, you know, maybe half an hour, look over your credit and look at all of the negative accounts, circle them all, and then make a list of what needs to be either removed or repaired. And then get with somebody that you trust.
Hey, we got the 5 ebook bundle. Y'all know I preach that every day. Go ahead and hit the link. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong screen. I gotta do my real finger. Right there. Click the link and follow. Follow. All right, so we good. Next week we have a special guest. We'll be talking about funnels and the importance, how you can make money off of funnels. Fire. Y'all not gonna want to miss this one. But yeah, we're good. We got the academy up. We are pushing and growing and doing all the things. If you guys have any questions, shoot us a DM. Give us a like, give us a follow all of our social media handles. It's the Elevation Academy on anything. If you're on a social media platform, the Elevation Academy is our handle. So if you see us, you'll see T, you'll see KP or Shanice's face, and you guys should know the logo by now. If you don't, here it is. We good. All right, everybody. I see you guys TikTok, I see y'all tomorrow. Everybody else, I see y'all next Wednesday.
Bye.
And this